And now let's start the action with round number one.
Thank you, Thomas McHugh. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Combat Sports Live in round number one. Round number one is brought to you by the Renaissance Academy of Martial Arts, Central Virginia's best all-around martial arts training academy. Contact them today at 434-846-KICK, or you can visit them on the web at www.ramarts.com. And with me is the owner, operator, head instructor, head coach, you name it. My brother, Jamie Ridgway, is in the studio with us. We're going to be talking about mixed martial arts right now, about UFC 113, and what's on my mind, and I think that's what's on everybody's mind in the studio today, is Shogun versus Machida, one of the most controversial fights of 2009. Now the rematch is happening 7 months later. What you saw in that first fight between the two was what a lot of people would perceive as a lopsided scoring victory on part of Shogun. Charles, how did you see that fight going? I'm curious to hear your point of view.
You know, I surely was disappointed with the way the original decision came down. I think that Shogun won the fight. I think he won the hearts of many fans because, it's really tough when you lay it out there, in a 5-round championship fight and the decision doesn't go your way when not just yourself and your corner, but probably just about everybody in the facility knew you won and on pay-per-view buys. So 7 months later, the real trick to this is going to be who makes the adjustments. Does Machida make adjustments to offset what Shogun's going to do, and does Shogun bring something different, or do we just see a replay? Many a times you see that with rematches. You see a replay of what had already happened, but this time, the organization makes sure the judges get it right. So highly anticipated. I'm excited about seeing it, and we'll see what happens this time. Hopefully they get it right no matter who wins.
And Jamie, talking about letting fights go to decision, when you train your fight team, and do you train them to fight to win on a scoring system, or do you train them to finish fights? As a coach of mixed martial arts fighters, what would you say that Shogun could have done differently to make sure that he won the fight the last time around?
Well, I don't know that fighting Machida at that point had been almost had a mystique about him. A lot of the guys who are going in there, you see him fighting him, and he was pulling things out that they've never seen before, angles, hitting in different angles. I think Shogun got in the ring and just went back to his basic Muay Thai, and in the middle of the fight, you realized that baseball bat hitting Machida in the leg over and over and over was working.
Certainly something that we've seen recently.
We've seen a lot of that with Matt Hughes.
Well, we saw that with Jose Aldo versus Uriah Faber. Muay Thai clearly won the day in that situation. He chopped away at that leg, and I think that's what happened with Shogun versus Machida the first time.
It's funny how you bring Aldo up first, and I brought Matt Hughes up. I think there's a reason for that, right, Jeremy?
I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea. But yeah, I mean, you've got, like you were saying, Jamie, Machida, he does fight metrics, and SureDog.com have him as the number one ranked fighter in his division, and also he has the best record. He's 16-0, never lost. So there has been a mystique and karate aspect of it, and his style is certainly unorthodox in comparison to, I would say, today's mixed martial artists. When you say, Charles, he goes backwards while everybody else is coming at you.
No, he does, and that could be part of how he surprised a few guys along the way to getting where he's at. They're so used to what I guess they're seeing now in the 21st century, and he kind of rolls back the clock a little bit. And we'll see what happens. I'm excited. I think Shogun's going to beat him down and not have to change a bunch.
What I'm kind of interested in is seeing if there's going to be a ground game. Is there going to be a ground game in this fight? Let's say they go to a striking war, and Machida's learned how to shield that kick. That kick comes in like a baseball bat. He knows it's coming. That's what was the equalizer of the last fight. Does he now shield the kick, and does it change the fight to the point where that black belt jiu-jitsu comes into play, and now we got a ground war?
And that's the great thing about mixed martial arts is that if something's not working or something you're getting beat at something, you have somewhere else to go. Scott, Cujo, Sigmund, and I, even after last week's show, we've talked all week about the differences of the two sports. Mm-hmm. And you see with boxing, just like Mayweather, he was a superb boxer, a better boxer than Mosley. And Mosley had nowhere to go. Whereas in MMA, if someone's sitting there kicking your front leg or he's outstriking you, at least you have somewhere else you can take it. And hopefully you have the skill set to do it, but at least there's an opportunity to. And that's what makes MMA so special is that if you're not the best at stand-up, you have two other facets of the game that you can go to, and we'll see. Hopefully they make adjustments. Hopefully it's a different fight, because I don't know about you. I don't want to sit there and watch the same thing again and they just get the decision correct. I'd like to see a different kind of fight.
Well, I think Shogun's going to go out there not leaving the judges' hands this time. I'm fairly confident that that's the game plan for him. But what is Machida going to do when that leg kick comes in? That's going to be where this fight goes.
Well, one thing that I find that's very interesting about Machida is that he has spent a significant amount of time in Thailand training Muay Thai alongside his traditional karate background. You just don't really see, at least I haven't seen, him utilize what's perceived as the traditional Muay Thai type of strikes. Muay Thai definitely, you're light on the front foot, elbows high, moving forward. Machida does not move that way. I would like to see Machida change his game up. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. He's done the same thing pretty much every time. He's been a counter fighter. He's waited for the one person waited for his opponent to attack, and then he counterattacks. That's his game. Didn't work for him with Shogun last time, even though the decision went his way. Clearly, a lot of people think it was called incorrectly. So Shogun versus Lyoto Machida is certainly going to be billed as one of the best rematches of all time. Definitely exciting main event for UFC 113. Talking about exciting events, the card is just packed with great matchups. One, Marcus Davis versus Jonathan Goulet. We've been talking with Marcus Davis later in the hour by telephone. Definitely a great fight that's coming up on the card. Marcus has been to Lynchburg a couple of times to our local mixed martial arts events. And Jamie's had a chance to train with Marcus, right?
Yeah, I trained with him a couple times. Marcus is a unique individual, very talented, strong boxing. He is a joy to train with. We had him in for a couple clinics. He's got every facet of the game, and the guy's phenomenal.
He seems like to me he's what's right about combat sports,
right?
MMA. And he has the boxing background. This guy's what's right about it. He'll come in and, he'll help everybody get better in your local town and your school, but yet he's still fighting at the top of his game. Even though he's had a couple losses recently, that's okay. These guys, they're going to have losses. That's what MMA is all about. You don't have that standing 8 count to recover. You got to be on your game at all times. But all the things that I've heard about Marcus, it's just that he's the right, he's what's right about MMA.
Well, and knowing Marcus, he's the kind of guy that when he loses, he's going to go back in there and retool his game and come back out as stronger fighters.
Absolutely. We'll talk more about that in round number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, stick around. We're going to be talking about UFC 113. Later in the hour, we've got Marcus Davis calling in by telephone. We're going to continue talking about that. So sit tight for round number 2 of Combat Sports Live.